Ball crack is fine. Oh,
Brilliant. That makes sense. Okay, I'm loaded in, so let me know when you're ready.
I'm loaded in as well. You don't have to pause.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Right, here we are on
Thickets. So this is another version of
Thickets.
Baltic, basically. It's a slightly different version of Baltic. I don't think I've ever seen this played. Certainly not. I don't think I've ever played it.
This is another one where I saw, I think it was Beastie and Marine Lord. It was Beastie and someone playing it for the review, or basically to promote the DLC. It's a very interesting map. Water is going to be a big deal, obviously, because you can see what's right there in the middle.
What, the ball?
Actually, so if this was a 1v1, there would only be the one sacred site. It looks like these teams have lucked out a little bit, because on the North Shore, there's a second this time.
Yeah.
Bit of an odd placement, but it's going to mean that you don't automatically win the game the moment you take the water.
Yeah.
Which is normally the kind of the defining feature of this map.
Well, this is it. Can you imagine when this gets put into the 1v1 ranked pool and there is just one sacred in the middle? I mean, it's going to be such a... I don't know if it's going to be good or bad.
From what I saw, it's simple. Whoever takes the other off water goes for the win immediately.
Yeah.
So.
But then they get their base rolled. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? It just... I don't know. I'll be excited to see it on the ranked pool for sure. It's good we've got these new maps that we can hope that they will eventually be in. So we've got ducks coming down for all 4 gentlemen here. As expected.
There's plenty of fish. It's going to be easy to boost your eco here. It is a risk because putting your eco on the water means that you have to defend your eco on the water. When the military ships come out, the first person to fold is going to be set behind by a good bit. Let's see. Ottomans on the north side paired with the Malians, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's actually not north-south, it's east-west.
Yeah. Good call. I assumed it was north-south. Interesting. Yeah, cool. So we've got Malians and Ottomans. Nice. And then we've got the Asian states. Cool. So we've got Abbasid dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate. Interesting. Yep. What do you think about this?
So it's interesting. I think Delhi might have been a conscious pick because they expected a single sacred site in middle. That's still valuable to take that in feudal, but now there's the one on the north side. So I think that plan might have been countered just by the way this map generated. It's still something to play for. Abbasid and Delhi go pretty well together, obviously. You saw how they worked on Canal. You've got cheaper docks coming from Abbasid that's going to make them scarier on water. And you have... It's not an amazing bonus, but the fishing ships for Delhi can defend themselves. So you're not going to lose your dock in the Dark Age. On the other side, we have the new old civs. Or the old new civs. Over a year ago, we had 2 civs added in at the same time. Ottomans and Mali, and I'm not sure how well they complement each other. We're going to find out very quickly. Obviously, I've addressed Mali's issues on hybrid maps before. You're not going to see a cow boom if you're setting up docks, and if you're not setting up docks, then you're cow booming. They kind of cannibalize their resources. Farumba doesn't make use of the excess food that comes in with fishing. So there are a few issues with the Civ pick. We've seen the 3D clan use them to great effect this tournament, though. So we'll see how that works out. Mali may not be known as a hybrid Civ, but that doesn't mean they can't make magic happen. In Ottomans, we all know how powerful Ottomans are. They don't bring any special bonuses to a hybrid map, They have no special ships. They don't get cheaper docks. But they are going to be able to mass up once they start putting down their military schools. And that does punish Delhi really well. And he happens to be across from Delhi. It's not as good against Abbasid, but Abbasid are on the far side. Honestly, I think the most interesting thing I've seen so far is our Ottoman players gone for trade.
Yes, I was just about to point that out to you, yeah.
Yeah. Or rather, the trade landmark. He hasn't necessarily started trading yet, so. And I think it makes sense. What use is the berry landmark when you're fighting over fishing? But, gonna be interesting to see if he makes use of that landmark in different ways. Right now, if nothing else, it's generating free gold. We see a lot of scout fighting early on. It is it would be a big thing if they pick off each other's scouts. I highly doubt it will get that far.
Daddy, look at the water.
Yes, the ships began fighting, and as soon as they started fighting,
arrows started flying.
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's going well for the Ottomans and the Mali players so far.
GG, get wrecked. The scout goes down.
The scout went down?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the decider then, yeah.
GG. Oh, lovely shot. Lovely shot.
I mean, we may joke about it, but with one scout down, that means they're going to see they're going to see a lot less. Their enemies are going to be able to do more that doesn't get scouted out and countered. That could pay off down the road. Baltune is going in for some harassment on the gold line. The cat has already responded with a javelin thrower.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, good call.
Yep. We see the Tower of Victory, but we don't see any land production from Delhi yet. Gonna be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, for sure. I like this full retreat from one javelin thrower. Obviously knows there's probably another on the way. He's going to rather use these units, but I mean, he's made these units redundant by getting a couple of javelins out, which is great. Baltune is not producing villages anymore. What's going on in Baltune's base? He's heavily microing.
I think. So I'm kind of curious. Baltune and Cat have both set up military production, and they both appear to be, you know, considering harassing on land in order to tax the other team's micro. Crackedy, on the other hand, and Anotand across from him, have set up 0 military production, and they both seem to be committing to a water fight.
Yeah.
So, one half of both of our teams is saying, I'm trusting you, you take care of the Navy, I'm going to go see if I can pick off some villagers.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, of course, the other side of that is, if your teammate doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, your fishing's going to die, and then somebody's going to have a lot to answer for.
Yeah, so you're seeing a lot more commitment from... so Baltune is actually bringing... does actually have some ships out, whereas Cat has very much got... You know, he's got a demo, and okay, he's got two sprinkled ships out now, but I feel like Anotand's winning in the north here, but...
Yeah, so both of these civilizations on the south side are attempting a two-pronged attack.
Yeah.
They have made military. They are also committing to water. They're going to be absolutely taxed out of their gourd when it comes to APM. On the north side, these guys are playing it safer. They are only committing to the naval fight. Ugh. Ship goes down.
We also have as well a scholar, I think they're called scholar in the dock as well. So he will be getting slightly faster production. They both are on 2 docks. So we're going to see, but Baltune's coming to reinforce him here. the same time, Cat's moving up, and this whole of Baltune's fishing economy is now exposed. However, I know, and he's pop capped, so this Springle ship is not going to be coming out. He does have the reinforcement of the arrow slit. I can't remember what it's called. Upgrade. What's it called? Naval arrow slits. That's it.
So this is a bit worrying. Anotand is being 2v1'd on the north side. Okay, Cat was AFK for a second, but he does respond. Now it's an even fight. The docks are possibly going to heal up the naval or the local ships, protect. But I don't know, if they'd been able to respond a little bit sooner, I think Anotand and Cat would have gotten a much better lead in this fight.
I agree.
Now it's looking a bit sketchy. Let's see. There are 2 demos in back. He's trying not to get them sniped out. One is spotted. It gets in. That's a huge hit. The second one does get sniped out. A demo from the other side doesn't manage to catch a ship. And, as most people who have watched tournaments up to now will know, when it comes to naval fights, there does reach a point where it's kind of about who manages to get that demo in amidst all
yeah,
the
it's the best demo, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's sneaking them out. It's
to turn the tide.
100%, and it's sneaking them out amongst your ships. It's a heavy tax on APM for sure, and it's quite an art to it. But we are seeing a lot of aggression as well on land into Baltune's base. He's pushed the Woodvilles. No, I think the Woodvilles had already moved, but they certainly are now finding a new home on the southern side of Baltune's base. The north is no longer safe.
Yeah, and it's a big investment, but Baltune has decided that he doesn't want to deal with this again. The war on the sea is already too much. He is putting a huge palisade across this map.
Yeah.
He says, I am not going to get raided and get caught unawares.
And the wise decision, right? I mean, you could have a stalemate, right, between Anotand and Crackedy here on the water, and it will be the first person, if it does remain a stalemate, it'll be the first person to switch into land, tax a bit more APM off the other, get a few villager kills, and that will turn the tides. Obviously, this isn't a 1v1. We are seeing obviously other coloured ships here, but that tends to be the play. We've got no walls. Everyone's eco is exposed, so no trade yet. Just two traders still in the landmark.
Oh no! Baltune accidentally rallied his ships forward to the docks of Anotand and Cat. He just lost a little chunk of his navy without any sort of a fight there. So now they're definitely at a disadvantage in what has otherwise been a pretty equal number of ship to ships. Let's see. It looks like Crackedy. Nope. Oh, on the south side, by the way, that wall apparently didn't come in soon enough. Look at these javelin throwers.
No, so they've been in the base quite a while now, circling around. Yeah, the wall was.
They're the ones you were calling out before.
Yeah.
But he managed to hide them well enough that even with the wall up, they've managed to come back and go for round 2.
And the war on the sea continues.
Get caught out.
Dun, dun,
And now
dun,
on
dun,
the water,
dun, dun, dun,
Anotand
dun.
and Cat are pushing in. But this time it's going to let Crackedy and Baltune fight underneath a pair of docks.
I do love the look of the war canoes, I must say.
So at this point, Anotand has accepted it's not going to be a purely naval affair. He's set up a pair of military schools. He's currently producing SEPA. He makes sense. He's probably going to try to raid. That should shut down the wood. That should help with the fight on water. Crackedy has not made that call. He is still purely on woodline and purely using his docks in order to fight back. Oh no, there's a stable. And now we have both of them transitioning into Cat.
Yeah, and a response coming in for Crackedy, so he's got a couple of stables out, going for, yeah, the Ghazi Raiders, as expected. Now the TC coming down for Baltune. Okay, so this is interesting. He is Abbasid, so obviously cheaper vills, so it makes sense. I don't think he lost many vills, so he's not trying to replace anything. Maybe he's been a spare resort. Well, no, he must have been. Okay, he's still on stone. Is he going for another TC? Might very well be. Maybe in anticipation of potentially losing the water? I don't know. Is that this fleet from the 3D boys is pretty dench. Pretty dench. I mean, it is on both sides, but there's a lot of war canoes here.
Yeah.
You got to remember they're smaller, so it looks like there's less of them, but they're just as powerful, I believe.
Okay, this is an absolute mess of a fight. The demos go in, both sides snipe them out. It looks like we have another fight without a clear definitive ending. On the south side, we did see Cat burn his way through that palisade, but by the time he got back here to the wood line, the tower was up and these villagers were protected. But he's gone so heavy in the military at this point, it looks like he's just going to try to do lethal damage to Baltune's base directly.
Yeah. Quick one, Nanny. What time are you on?
Hmm?
What time are you on?
1640.
Oh, cool. Let me speed up a little bit. I'd slow.
Yeah, I don't know how I got ahead. We obviously...
It's probably a mistake on my part. Cool, I'm with you now. Some Ghazi Raiders in the back of Anotand's base, but they're not going to get much off because there is Sipahi already there ready to defend, and a lot more of them.
Yeah, on the south side, we see a ram starting to be built.
Oh, yeah.
So, we did correctly call that the 3D Cat is going to try to do lethal damage here. He says, I know this fighting on the water has gone back and forth. What I need to shut down is going to be this wood line.
Oh, and Anotand is now virtually completely off water. He's still producing fishing ships, which is amazing to me because they're just going to die. But yeah, we're looking at potentially Bullcrack taking the water here.
Oh yeah, some demos come out. Might be too little too late though.
Yeah.
Even if they stabilize the military fight, the fishing's taking a hit. That's going to set their economy back a bit. But I don't think they are going to stabilize this navy. So the question becomes, if they get taken off the water, have they had enough time in order to set up their economy on land? I don't think so. Normally, the civilizations who do that well are China or HRE. They manage to either Swabia or set up granaries, and then they say, okay, the fishing was a setback, but I have this way of staying ahead. I don't think either of these civilizations, Ottomans or Mali, have that. So this is a huge blow to them.
Nanny, I'm going to point something out to you. Look on the southern bit of the water. 5 demos are headed to some sort of destruction. Oh, this is perfect. Boom. Boom goes the dynamite. Come on.
Yeah, so that was a big fleet of demos. Luckily, give it a second.
There we go. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, he was a little slow. He gets 4 ships. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. It was still pretty lethal. The main part is they already have the naval mass. All they have to do is maintain it, and this should be a not a GG of the match, but a GG of the naval fight.
Yeah, but this is it. This is it. There's timing involved in this. So you can lose the water. Losing water. Everyone says GG when you lose the water. Go ahead.
Look at Crackedy's base.
I know, I'm watching it right now. He's trying to get his castle age up while getting raided. The supplies are slowly going down. There is some spearmen getting mixed in. Yeah, this is a perfect time for the spearmen. He hasn't lost that many villagers. This is fine for Crackedy. Crackedy's in a good spot here. But what I'm the time, this is where we'll work out sort of timings is, I've done it before where you can lose water and get them to overcommit on water, and then boom, you pop out, you know, a land force and sort of swipe them that way. But there's a timing for that, because you have lost the water. There's, you know, you're gonna miss out on a hell of a lot of eco, a hell of a lot of food. So if these guys can nail this down, then they're going to be in a good spot. And I don't know if they can take the game from this, but yeah.
Yeah. So you said the line lost water about 5 times in the last 2 minutes. Here's the interesting thing about that. Because of that raid, because they were Crackedy was completely idled off of wood, his navy is now non-existent, despite the fact that we thought he'd completely won a minute ago. And if you look down at Baltune's base, he is actually in shambles right now. The javelins and the Donso came in, and villagers are running circles, desperate to get away. The rams that we saw being built took down the tower, denied the wood line, and that's why Baltune doesn't have a navy, and they're not stopping there. So literally as soon as the team Baltune and Crackedy won the water, they might have just been hit with a perfect timing. They might be about to lose on land.
Yeah, that's it. It's the timing.
They do have their fishing, and if that isn't taken out, they still have the ability to come back.
Well, this is it. I mean, you're seeing Anotand almost double down on his docks. He's now got 4 docks up.
Anotand is so confident in this attack. He's used the Vizier point, and they're the Janissaries. He says, I know what I have to do because I smell blood in the water. Pun 100% intended.
Yeah. And Cat's just got TCs on his mind. He's taken out one. He's now after the other TC.
Yeah.
Or the third TC, rather.
This isn't something we didn't see coming. We saw Cat massing up. Cat gave himself away when he raided the woodline the first time, and then he ran back, burned the palisade, and sat his army here, there. He sat his army there. Baltune didn't take that threat seriously. Baltune didn't commit to a military, and because he didn't commit to a military, Cat just built the rams, massed up, and this might be a lethal blow.
Yeah, it's looking pretty devastating.
We saw early on, both teams let the guy in the north make a navy and fight over the fishing, and the southern teams decided to produce military. In the end, Cat stuck to that game plan. Baltune didn't, and Baltune ended up going to support in the naval fight. And that might spell disaster for our team here. Like, there's
an enormous army from Cat now.
Yeah, there's something to be said about assigning duties when you're playing a team game. It was clearly Baltune's duty to keep the land army in check, and in that, I think he's failed rather enormously right now.
And now we're seeing a keep drop from Anotand in the middle of the base of Crackedy, in amongst some of his military. And then Cat's back in for another round.
Yeah.
However, they have kept hold of the sea, but what that counts at this point, I don't know. I mean, looking at the banks of Cat and I mean, obviously they're keeping everything damn low, but not much on food.
What's interesting with the sea is that when they were idled off their woodlines and Anotand and Cat came back, Anotand managed to make like 9 demo ships, and there's so much going on, he didn't manage to fully capitalize on the naval advantage he suddenly had. So now, they've lost that initiative, which was hard fought because of this push on land. Honestly, I don't think it matters. I think them focusing on water is a mistake because they're so close to the finish.
Yeah. I agree.
So, there are rams being built in Crackedy's base. These are in order to push out that keep. The Sipahi and the men-at-arms are going to fight. We're on the south side. We see archers and ghulams trying to fend off just the Malian mass. It might work because I don't see a lot of Musafati in here. This does mean that Baltune is defending two bases simultaneously, which is very difficult. Crackedy is doing his best, but with a keep over his production and his TC, he's obviously in the worst place in this match right now. In the end, it looks like they do drive off the Sipahi, and that means this keep will be going down. That's going to relieve some of the pressure that was applied by Anotand. And Anotand is starting to get fishing out again, and is trying to match that eco now that he's losing his grip on Crackedy's base.
Yeah, really good job defending here. There's no burning oil out as well, so he's going to be able to get this keep down quite easily.
On the south side, Cat never managed to reach Castle Age, unlike everyone else in this game. And as a result, he didn't have any armor piercing to deal with the ghulams. Probably could have mixed in Musafati.
Yeah,
actually, he's 14 Musafati now.
We see him now, yeah.
It may be that without the age up, they just don't have the killing power. And he
getting
was
that
forced
extra
to pull
hit
back
in with
from
the...
an incredibly lethal position. What I do find amazing, and count this out with me here, Baltune went not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Baltune went 5 TCs.
Oh, whoa, I did not even see this. Oh, whoa.
And that's probably the reason that he managed to recover so well, despite this blitzkrieg on his base.
And by the way, he has 1,500 stone, which he's now used to get a keep right in front of where his army is right now. Crackedy's still doing a good job of defending, getting a keep up in the backside, which is a strange placement. I feel like I might have put it where Anotand did. I'm not sure about this one on the backside. I don't know what his plans are for here for the future, but the keep is going to go up, looks like. He's not looking to contest it. Cat really needs his upgrades in, so let's have a little look at Cat. So he's just about to get his veteran. Was that Musafati? Yeah, I think that was Musafati upgrade in. Let's have a look at them. Yeah,
we're seeing a classic match now, which is composite bow archers from Abbasid, who are going to be going up against poison arrow archers, probably. No, javelin throwers. That's the right call, because poison archers would have lost here. So Mali does have a counter for the ranged units. They have Musafati to deal with the ghulams. It's going to be a matter of micro.
Yeah.
Will the composite bows take out the Musafati, or will the javelin throwers take out the archers? The keeps coming up may just render both of those points moot.
Yeah, well, this is it as well. It's his army's on the military production. A keep is now getting put on the military production. If he loses this army, he's going to find it very difficult to get another one.
Yeah. And there's not one, but 2 mangonels now. Sorry. That's actually a battering ram, so it is 1 mangonel, but the point is there's a siege advantage.
There's 2 siege. 2 siege. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. The point is that with a siege advantage, trying to fight in between these buildings, your army's going to group up and you're going to be punished. So the battlefield is terrible for Cat. If he fights inside his own base, he'll probably lose his units. So At this point,
it's funny. It's funny. You've got Baltune doing some serious work on Cat, and Anotand still cracking that nut that is Crackedy. Excuse the pun, wasn't intended. He's broken the keep down, or cracked the keep. I'll stop it now. There's some knights that have done some, like, the ROI on these knights is incredible. I'm pretty sure they cleared up quite a few vills. And annoyingly for Crackedy, he had a Springald slowing down the army. So you saw this army coming down to deal with the knights, and it was just so delayed.
Yeah, the army pushes in from Cat, by the way. He's decided it's time.
Yeah.
He doesn't have siege to get rid of the keep, but he did manage to get around to the Mangonel. And now, like I said, he's trying to fight, but his units are getting caught up in the buildings. It's not advantageous. He takes out most of the Ghulams, but he is going to pull back away from the keep now, and basically doesn't regain any ground in his base.
No. Most of the army does go down though, but those composite bows really paying dividends here. I mean, they're eating the sofas alive.
Yeah, 100%. And as we know, Mali has really only one armored unit, that's the sofa. So the composite bows are kind of a counter to everything they could face in this matchup.
Oh wow!
And then under the TC now, and if you're fighting under the TC into javelin throwers with archers, you have to have some confidence in your
You got some balls, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of javelins now.
Yeah, he's taken out the front line of 3D Cat now, who, as I mentioned, is actually switching into Sofa. So it looks like he's planning to try to shut that down.
Yeah.
Cat's trying to put up a defensive keep, so he knows that this is the point he has to draw the line. And Anotand goes Imperial Age. So I think we have a base race now. Anotand knows that he's got the advantage, it seems, on Crackedy, which I would say he's probably correct about. And on the far side, Cat just has to hold out under the continued pressure of Baltune.
Yep.
And right now, we're seeing, I said, what's stereotypical of duo play is stacking armies and saying, you know, combined arms, you're the ranged, I'm the knights. But right now we're seeing both teams look at their partner and go, you've got that side, I've got this side. I can't come to your rescue, but I'm relying on you.
Yeah, just a total 1v1.
In your teammate.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's two trebuchets out now from Bali, attempting to slowly work down this forward position. The army of Baltune is massing up. He's actually massing up in his base. The reason this is smart is currently 3D Cat cannot see the army, so he can't tech against it. If he was rallying his units under these keeps, then Cat would be able to see the spearmen and he'd say, okay, these Sofa I'm producing, they're about to be countered. Let me go to archers, let me go to Musafati. That's not happening, and thus Baltune is leveraging this, you know, hidden hand of spearmen so that the next time they fight, he may get the unit advantage. Now what that does mean is he's giving up the forward keeps and he's losing that ground he earned after so much time. But he has done a lot of damage. It isn't fatal. Some barracks, some stables. He's lost keeps in return. The pit mine is damaged. It's just another sign of how back and forth this match has been.
Yeah, and now we're seeing Baltune head over to Crackedy to help reinforce him, as it is getting pretty dire on that side. I mean, yeah, Baltune's economy looks tip-top right now, whereas Crackedy's is fumbling a little bit.
Well, when you go 5 TCs with fishing...
Yep.
But although his economy is as strong as we see it is now, I do think Baltune's probably in the best position of any single player in this match, but that's not going to matter if his teammate goes down. And as Delhi, Crackedy does have these or these keeps working as TCs right now. That's helping to stabilize the villager count. But his TC is dead. His compound of the defender is dead. His relics are on the ground. He needs to make something happen on this defense. And luckily, Baltune has come up here and is committing his military to the north. It's going to be a pitched fight. I think Anotand might be able to take on both of these forces. There's the beautiful Great Bombard to help. But if both armies are up here, you have to ask the question, what's going on with Cat? We see stone walls to the south is the answer. Baltune has decided to stonewall up. He's attempting to use that to slow down Cat, and so that he can focus on this northern engagement. And once again, we see a race of positions.
Poor Prelate, the Imam locked out.
That's been walled in.
Interestingly enough as well, Baltune went trade wing, which he does have access to the trade with the stone wall defending. One of the stone walls is down. There is another small one. And yeah, Anotand's done a fantastic job of preventing this attack. And I feel like this is going to snowball now for the 3D boys.
Yeah, I think if his whole army was up here, and if this was where the majority of Baltune's base is, I think that northern push could have been scary.
Yeah.
I don't think Crackedy had enough force to push up north, and I think that Baltune knew that if he sent everything north, then what happened in the south here was going to happen, where he's now facing a raid that, if he doesn't take it seriously, Cat may have him on the back foot, just like he did about 20 minutes ago. Luckily, by the way, you'll notice Cat's knocking down this stone wall, unaware that just to its south, there's some easily burnable palisades.
Yes, I know. I did think that.
Well, we'll chalk that one up to the fog of war.
Yeah, I'm on that viewer right now, and yeah, he can't see that it's not there. But I love that deception, which is great. It's sort of, but regardless,
by the way,
it goes down.
You were talking about trade. There's only one gold node left for Crackedy, and it's so forward. It's ahead of his destroyed base. He ended up deciding to go for it, and immediately spied it out though. And that was like 10 villagers that just bit the dust.
No. Yeah, that's savage.
It's not just the loss of villagers, it's that he has no source of gold. He did manage to go Imperial, but what's it going to cost him?
What does it count now?
He's down to 40 eco. 40. And Anotand, meanwhile, is on 100 eco. Cat's all the way up to 125, and Baltune 140 eco. So one of these players is not like the other.
Yeah. And Baltune doing a ditched effort here to push back some of the aggression from Cat. I mean,
to help try to equalize, by the way, Crackedy has run some villagers down here, and Baltune is now letting him siphon off his gold node that is in the middle of his base. Just anything to keep the hope alive. Let's see. We have knights around the back of the base now raiding into the farms from Anotand. And that's while the main army behind the Great Bombards pushes into the farms of Crackedy. So both farmlands are currently being raided. What? I don't know. What do you think you would try to do if you were in Baltune's place right now? Baltune or Crackedy?
So I think it might be a little bit too far gone now. What I think is, when Baltune was doing such a spectacular push on Cat down in the south, I think he should have stabilized that. You know, he kind of knew he was winning there. It would have been great to roll that through, but I feel like he should have come and defended. and helped Crackedy. Baltune taps. Yeah, I think it's too far gone now.
Yeah, probably sharing your thoughts, thinking back on where he could have turned things around. It was a pitched fight. We definitely saw both teams seize an advantage. But the main thing is that when it looked like the water was lost and maybe the game was up for grabs, Anotand and Cat snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, managed beautiful land raids, and that began to sway the momentum into a decisive win.